so proud of their history.
Right.
They're almost as proud of their history. Like when you go to Italy, Italians are so proud of their food. Like it never gets old. They're always protecting their brand and always evolving it. And that's what the Stones did. Right. The Stones are one band that can rest on their laurels and never do.
That's true. So now tell me, I love what you told me. You were listening to the last podcast and you got to a certain point and you had to stop. Explain that story for the listeners.
I'm sure it was like 12 minutes in, something along that. Very early into the podcast, when I heard that Van Halen has basically a box set ready to go, as far as like they just need to push a button or sign something on a contract, and it would be released and bring millions of people joy.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know, it's just so frustrating why you would not want to promote yourself.
It's incredible.
I mean, involving money, involving their legacy. I mean, there's just so much stuff that they don't even scratch the surface with.
That's true.
Any B-sides, nothing.
I know, nothing. It's incredible. Now, 2020 is coming up. Everybody's thinking that this possibly could be the year. What's your prediction? What do you think?
Unfortunately, I'm losing faith. I don't think you're going to hear anything from Van Halen in 2020.
Wow.
The best you could hope for is maybe somebody else has like another bootleg or you know. But it's just so frustrating. How can you count on anything? I mean, I'm hoping everybody's healthy.
Of course.
Because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Right.
But with all things being equal, so many other bands have problems and tragedies, but they keep rolling along.
Right.
You know, I mean, look at Rush, for God's sake.
Absolutely.
You know, Neil Peart, he had a couple of different tragedies, and they kept the brand going.
Yeah, that's true. It's very true. Yeah. And now here's the other thing. Because Roth is holding back from doing anything musical, do you think he's signed to a contract that he can't do anything? Because it appears like that, right?
I think he's almost on retainer.
Right, right. He's being paid a certain amount, and he's on contract.
Love him or not, Dave's always out there willing to do something.
Right.
You know, like if you have a lemonade stand, Dave will come there and you know, promote Dave. I mean, So I think he's gung ho and he's chomping at the bit.
What would your ultimate scenario be? Would you like them to go out with Dave again, or would you like to see them do the Sam and Dave tour, like in a stadium situation, or what do you think?
I think the best case scenario, even though I'm a way bigger Dave fan.
Right.
I mean, I think the best case scenario is that they do a Sam and Dave tour. Yeah. Michael Anthony's on bass. Right. Wolfgang opens. Right. And everybody's happy. Right. And I think the quality of that show will be very, very, high quality. Right. And I think harmonious. Right. And I think they'll make
close it out from there.
Yeah, I think they could do baseball stadiums more realistic than football stadiums. Right.
I
think they could draw.
Sure.
Especially if they have a strong opening act.
Absolutely.
And
call it a day after that.
Hey,
or what do you think?
I would like them, I mean, God forbid they released the 1981, the Oakland footage. That would be the ultimate for
That's
me.
The truth. That's the truth. And we all want that. And as we know, God knows what's in the vaults, right? Because obviously we found out through Eddie Trunk that there's lots in the vaults.
I mean, just from even some of the mid-grade bootlegs.
Yeah.
Like the one from 1979 in Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
Comes to mind.
Yeah.
The 81 North Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, these are outstanding shows that it's almost criminal that they are not seeing the light of day.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mentioned before, the Oakland show in 81, I mean, that's...
Yeah, I know. Everybody
please,
wants that.
Put it out.
It's the truth. Well, thank you so much, Vinny. We always appreciate your listenership. You're such a great participating listener and a faithful one at that. And want to thank you for doing that. And it's always great to have you on.
Well, believe me, I'd like to thank you, in person. The podcast means so much to me. And I know thousands of people like me. When that thing gets released every month, like I said, I put my undivided attention. I carve out 3 hours where I'm not going to be bothered, and I listen to it.
Awesome.
And if that means painting a bridge while I'm doing it, that's what I listen to.
That's right. Vinny's always in the sky as he's listening to the podcast. Right. And we want to make sure you're safe and healthy up there. He takes pictures. I get dizzy just looking at the pictures he takes.
I promote the Van Halen brand more than
That's
they
right.
do.
You even hung a banner on top.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Well, thank you again, man. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you very much.
Anytime. Okay, we are here in the parking lot of MetLife Stadium. We are tailgating for the Stones with Vinny Pasculli, and he is here with his friend
Risa Peck.
Risa Peck. Awesome. Risa, where are you from?
I'm originally from Ronkonkoma,
Long Island.
Long Island. I now live in New Jersey.
Awesome. And so tell me, now you're a big Van Halen fan.
Huge Van Halen fan. June 6, 1982, I went and bought Diver Down. listened to the album, was hooked, completely hooked.
Wow.
Secrets.
It's awesome.
Obscure.
Yes.
Right, 2.5 minutes long.
That's right. One of our all-time faves. Yeah.
All schmoopsy kind of love song.
Yeah.
My favorite one, but I do love Fair Warning.
Oh, yeah.
Love Fair
That's
Warning.
a favorite. Yeah, fan favorite.
And I was 15 going on 16 when they were touring in 1984.
Right.
My mom wouldn't let me go to the concert.
Concert was at the Coliseum?
Coliseum.
Wow.
But she's like, well, what's going to happen? They're going to break up? And I'm like, Mom. And guess what? They broke up.
Yeah, that's true.
So years later, it was 1991. David was on his solo tour. Came to a radio station I was interning at, WBAB.
Right.
And he came and he was signing autographs and went around the table signing cassette tapes. Really dating myself there.
Of course.
And he signed my cassette tape and spelled my name correctly.
Wow, beautiful.
And he was awesome. He was
That's
really
great.
fun. I have a picture. I'm going to find a picture to show you.
You're right. And then he tell me about the cup.
Oh, he went. I have two stories now. He went into the back room to cut promos, and when they came out with a styrofoam cup that he had drank out of in between promos, I drank the water that he drank, and then I still have the styrofoam cup. But I will tell you, he also came to Nassau Coliseum as a solo artist.
You go to that show?
I did. When we went to the show, my father knew somebody that worked as an usher, and he said, all you have to do is buy tickets. But I work the floor.
Right.
And as long as you have tickets, I can get you down. Just tell them you know Uncle Ralph.
Right. Okay.
So I bought a ticket with my girlfriend. We get in there. I say, no, that's my Uncle Ralph down there. And we worked our way down the stairs.
Wow.
And you know where they have like the photo area, like the photo pit?
The photo pit.
Yeah. So the front row was like 25 feet behind us.
Wow.
And opened up 2 folding chairs.
Wow.
I was up against the photo pit.
Oh my God.
And he came out and did Just a Gigolo.
Wow.
Like 10 feet away from me.
Wow, that must have been incredible.
It was incredible.
So it's because you drank the water, so technically you have David Lee Roth DNA in you.
I wanted to get pregnant by osmosis at the time, but I thankfully didn't because I was only 23 years old. But all good.
That's true. Awesome. That's great. That's awesome. And so are you still a longtime fan of Van Halen or no?
Still love them.
You are?
Still love them.
So what do you think is going on with the band right now?
So, David just came out with, they were never really friends, and I get that. They weren't. They were never really friends, right? He hated the fact that Eddie got married, and they were all married. But you know what? That kind of combustion made some beautiful music, and it's like a legacy right now, and I just think egos are in the way right now.
Right.
And honestly, I hated when Sammy Hagar took over.
Really?
That music ended
Not a
up
fan
being...
of it.
Well, it ended up being good music.
Right.
I hated it because I had a...
Right, you're a hardcore Dave fan.
Hardcore Dave fan.
Yeah.
But you know what? Music is music, and it spoke to me, but it's a shame. It really is a shame that they don't continue to
It's
tour.
too bad, even though they're in their 60s, they're older men and they can't get along, right?
They can't figure this shit out.
What's your favorite Van Halen album?
Between Diver Down and Fair Warning, I would say.
Okay, so that's when you first got into them, so
Yep.
excited about that time. How many times have you seen them?
Together, I've seen them 3 or 4 times, because remember, I got into them kind of after they broke up.
Right.
I got back together.
Right.
So I've seen more solo with David, but probably 4 times as Van Halen and 3 or 4 times as David, and then 3 times as Sammy.
Did you like Dave's solo stuff or no?
Yeah, I like Dave's.
Yeah. Which you have a favorite one or?
I think when we played with Steve Vai, I feel like they really connected on that cerebral level.
Yep.
And not trying to mimic what Eddie Van Halen. I mean, you can't be Eddie Van Halen, that's okay.
Right.
You can just be you. Steve Vai really held his own.
Yeah, he was. He very much was. So that's awesome, and hopefully they're going to come next year. We're all hoping that they're going to come.
That they get their act together and figure
Absolutely.
it out. Do it for the fans, right?
Absolutely. I appreciate your time. Thanks so much. Reporting live from MetLife Stadium.
Sammy does his job. He does well. Sammy's a singer, but it's the difference between a single word. Sammy's a singer. David Lee's the singer.
Check out the new podcast, The Rock Quarry, your place to hear in-depth interviews with some of rock's most colorful characters, with your host, entertainment journalist David J. Criblay. The Rock Quarry is available for free on Spreaker and iTunes. You can check us out on Facebook at The Rock Quarry Podcast, on Twitter at Rock Quarry Pod, on Instagram at The Rock Quarry Podcast, or email us at therockquarrypodcast@gmail.com.
Hello, everybody. This is Dweezil Zappa, and you're listening to Dave and Dave Unchained.
Hey, folks. I'd like to introduce you to the Classic Rock Album by Album podcast. Welcome to the Classic Rock Album by Album podcast, where no stone is left unturned in the show's epic quest to review and dissect every single rock album ever made. Join self-proclaimed rock authorities Chris Carson and Lee Bowie on their epic journey to uncover the true classics. You can find the Classic Rock Album by Album podcast wherever podcasts can be found, including Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Our website address is classicrockαλbumbyalbum.libsyn.com. That's LIBSYN.com. And we can be reached on Facebook at fb.me/Classic Rock Album by Album. See you soon from the Classic Rock Album by Album podcast.
I don't think Eddie would ever look me in the eye and shake hands, hugs and kisses. But Alex knows it's all true, and he knows it was all, he knows what happened. He was a bystander who stood by his brother, and I love them both. I still love Eddie Van Halen with all of my heart, and I wish him nothing but good health, but he put me through some miserable stuff that one human being should not do that to another human being.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here celebrating the 21st anniversary of the DLR Band record, which came out in 1998. Now, you wonder why we weren't celebrating the 20th. Well, the reason behind that is I really wanted to parlay it with an interview with John Five, and it took a long time to get John Five on the phone. So he was nice enough to grant us an interview, and I wanted to save this album for that interview because it makes a nice pairing. John Five has an amazing story as to how he got involved with the DLR Band. That's all in the interview. But Dave and I are going to sit down and pick apart this album, which is a really interesting turn in David Lee Roth's career. Wouldn't you say, Dave?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a hidden gem in his discography.
That's right. And not only is it a hidden gem, Dave, it's literally hidden. You can't find it on Spotify. You can't find it on iTunes. And if you buy it, you have to buy it used on like some secondary market. I actually bring this up to John Five in the interview, and I was like, John, this album is like wiped off the face of the earth. He actually told me that he is going to go to Dave about that, and they're going to fix it. So I thought that was kind of cool. So,
yeah, because it used to be on iTunes back in the day.
Absolutely. The way I look at it is somebody must have forgot to renew or something. It's probably some BS technicality. It's not like some purposeful thing. But we'll get into it. So anyway, this album came out June 9th in 1998. So it was a summer album, which is a perfect time for this to be released. Similar time as to when Eat 'Em and Smile got released. And this has a similar vibe to Eat 'Em and Smile. It's Dave's first album in 4 years. Now, let's take you back a little bit. Okay, so it's 1998. Dave's last album was Your Filthy Little Mouth in 1994. His last album on his Warner Brothers contract. And it didn't do that great, although I do like that album very much, and it's a mixed bag. There's a lot of interesting stuff on there. But let's remember the times, folks. The mid-90s was not so easy when you're a classic rock act. So this was a little turbulent. I mean, obviously, grunge is reigning hard. Grunge started creeping in 1994. By 1998, it was crushing. I mean, it was like all over the place, and all of these bands from this era were kind of wiped off the face of the earth, or at least frozen in time for a while. Now, this is funny, this album, because it has a mixed bag of players. You have John Five, who co-writes songs along with the producer Bob Marlette with Dave on many tracks, but then you also have 5 tracks by Terry Kilgore, who is his guitarist from Your Filthy Little Mouth and his friend from back in the club days with Van Halen. Terry, if you remember our interview that we did with Terry, he knows the Van Halens all the way back when they were not little, but they were teenage kids,